Captain Sarah Torres stood in the underground chamber of Sanctuary Base, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing humanity's greatest secret. The massive warship Hyperion hung suspended in the cavern, its obsidian hull absorbing the harsh industrial lights. To any orbital scans from their collective Dominion overseers, this facility appeared to be nothing more than an abandoned mining complex on the frontier world of New Haven. They couldn't have been more wrong. Final systems check complete, Captain. Lieutenant Maya Chen reported from her station, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. Quantum core is stable at 98% efficiency. Sarah nodded, allowing herself a moment to appreciate the magnitude of what they'd accomplished. For 15 years, the collective Dominion had relegated humanity to this backwater system, claiming it was for the galaxy's protection after the Mars incident. They'd stripped Earth of its advanced technology and left humans to scratch out an existence on New Haven, believing they'd crushed humanity's spirit. Instead, they'd given humanity exactly what it needed: isolation, motivation, and most importantly, time to innovate without oversight. "Show me the latest intel from our deep space probes," Sarah ordered. The holographic display shifted, revealing the positions of Dominion patrol vessels. The aliens maintained a loose blockade of the system, their ships following predictable patterns. They'd grown complacent, convinced that humans lacked the technological sophistication to pose any threat. Dr. James Rodriguez, the architect of the Hyperion's revolutionary drive system, stepped forward. His weathered face reflected both pride and concern. "The quantum displacement field is unlike anything the Dominion has encountered, Captain. When we activate it, the Hyperion won't just break their blockade. It'll rewrite their understanding of physics." "That's what worries them, isn't it?" Sarah mused, turning to face her senior staff. "Not our weapons or our numbers, but our capacity to innovate, to think differently." She gestured to the ship. "The Hyperion isn't just a warship. It's proof that trying to contain human ingenuity is like trying to hold back the tide." The chamber's atmosphere grew tense as alert signals flashed across the displays. Maya's expression tightened. "Captain, we're detecting increased Dominion patrol activity. They've altered their regular patterns. They're searching for something." Commander David Walsh, Sarah's tactical officer, observed. "Question is, what tipped them off?" Sarah's mind raced through the possibilities. They'd been meticulous in maintaining their cover, but perhaps they'd grown too confident. How long until the Hyperion is ready for full deployment? "The quantum core needs another 48 hours to achieve optimal synchronization," Dr. Rodriguez replied. "We could launch now, but we'd be operating at reduced efficiency." Sarah paced the command platform, weighing their options. The original plan had called for another week of testing, but plans rarely survived first contact with reality. "Maya, analyze those patrol patterns. I want to know if they're conducting a standard sweep, or if they have a specific target in mind." As Maya worked, Sarah studied the Hyperion through the reinforced observation window. The ship represented everything humanity had learned during their exile. Its hull was composed of metamaterials that could adapt their properties in real time. The quantum displacement drive didn't just move through space. It manipulated the fundamental fabric of reality. Even the ship's neural interface was revolutionary, allowing for reaction times that would make even the most advanced Dominion AI seem sluggish. "Analysis complete," Maya announced. "They're concentrating their searches on the planet's southern hemisphere. Our hemisphere. Time to make a decision, Captain," Commander Walsh said quietly. "We can power down completely, try to wait them out, or we show them exactly what humanity has been up to during our rehabilitation." Sarah finished. She straightened her uniform and turned to address the entire command staff. Humanity didn't survive and thrive across Earth's harshest environments by being cautious. We didn't reach the stars by playing it safe. The Dominion thought they were punishing us, but they gave us something invaluable: a reminder of who we are when our backs are against the wall. She activated the facility-wide communication system. "All personnel, this is Captain Torres. Begin immediate preparation for Protocol Prometheus. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. The underground facility erupted into controlled chaos as years of training kicked in. Launch crews rushed to their stations, engineers made final adjustments, and security teams moved to their defensive positions. Dr. Rodriguez, begin Quantum Core Emergency Initialization Sequence. Commander Walsh, activate all defensive systems and prepare for possible orbital engagement. Maya, I want continuous monitoring of all Dominion communications. The moment they realize what we're doing, I want to know about it. As her crew carried out their orders with practiced efficiency, Sarah returned her gaze to the Hyperion. The ship's hull had begun to pulse with a subtle blue glow as its quantum core came to life. Soon, the galaxy would remember why they had feared humanity's potential enough to try to contain it. And this time, humanity wouldn't just be fighting for survival. They would be fighting to prove that their species deserved its place among the stars, not as subjects or exiles, but as equals. The Dominion was about to learn a lesson that Earth's history had taught countless times. Sometimes, the most dangerous opponent isn't the one with the most powerful weapons, but the one with nothing left to lose and everything to prove. The Hyperion's quantum core hummed with barely contained power as final launch preparations echoed throughout Sanctuary Base. Captain Torres watched as status indicators shifted from amber to green across her neural interface display. Above them, through kilometers of rock and disguised mining tunnels, Dominion patrol ships continued their search pattern, completely unaware of what lurked beneath. Quantum core synchronization at emergency threshold, Dr. Rodriguez announced, his voice tense but steady. We're as ready as we'll ever be, Captain. Sarah nodded, feeling the weight of humanity's future settling on her shoulders. Begin surface evacuation protocol. I want all non-essential personnel in the deep bunkers before we move. Commander Walsh's tactical display suddenly flared red. Multiple Dominion ships entering low orbit. They're deploying ground-penetrating scanners. They're looking for us, Maya confirmed, monitoring the alien communications. Wait, Captain, they're not just searching. They know. Someone talked. Sarah's jaw tightened. They'd always known this was a possibility. In a project this massive, perfect secrecy was impossible. How much do they know? Enough to be scared, Maya replied, a hint of satisfaction in her voice. Their communications are chaotic. They're requesting immediate reinforcements from the sector fleet. Then we don't wait, Sarah decided. Sound general quarters. All hands to emergency launch stations. The base's lighting shifted to blood red as klaxons blared. Through her neural link, Sarah could feel the Hyperion systems coming fully online, its artificial intelligence meshing with her consciousness. The ship wasn't just a vessel. It was an extension of its crew, designed to amplify human intuition and reaction speed beyond anything the Dominion had ever encountered. Dominion ships are powering up weapons, Walsh reported. They're targeting the entire mountain range. Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. Let them. Maya, initiate the quantum bubble. Let's show them why you don't corner humans. The Hyperion's revolutionary defensive system activated, creating a field of altered space-time around not just the ship, but the entire base. When the Dominion's energy weapons struck the mountain, they found themselves hitting empty space, their beams twisted and redirected through quantum tunnels to emerge harmlessly in the upper atmosphere. Launch sequence initiated, Dr. Rodriguez announced. Quantum displacement field at maximum power. Captain, it's your show. Sarah took her place in the command chair, feeling the neural interface deepen its connection. Through the ship's sensors, she could feel the mountain above them, the Dominion ships in orbit, the very fabric of space-time waiting to be reshaped by human ingenuity. Begin primary launch sequence, she ordered. Let's give them a show they'll never forget. The Hyperion's quantum core pulsed, and reality itself seemed to shudder. Instead of launching through the mountain in a conventional sense, the ship created a bubble of altered space where the laws of physics became more suggestion than rule. The mountain appeared to fold around them like liquid, as the massive warship emerged not by breaking through rock, but by temporarily existing in a state where solid matter was no obstacle. "By all the stars," Maya whispered, monitoring the Dominion communications. "Their sensors can't make sense of what we're doing." They're terrified. The Hyperion rose majestically into the atmosphere, its black hull drinking in sunlight. Dominion ships scrambled to respond, their formation breaking as they tried to adapt to an impossible situation. Their weapons fired, but the quantum displacement field bent their attacks into harmless light shows. "Defense grid online," Walsh reported with fierce pride. "But they haven't seen our real surprise yet." Sarah nodded. "Show them what happens when you give humans 15 years to reimagine warfare. Deploy the quantum mirrors." From the Hyperion's hull, thousands of tiny crystals emerged, each one a product of human quantum engineering. As the Dominion ships fired again, the crystals activated, creating a complex web of quantum-entangled fields. Their energy weapons were caught, amplified, and reflected back with surgical precision, overwhelming their shields and shutting down their primary systems without destroying the vessels. "All Dominion ships in orbit have been neutralized," Walsh confirmed. "No casualties, just as planned." "Open a channel to all Dominion frequencies," Sarah ordered. "It's time to deliver our message." Maya complied, and Sarah stood from her command chair, her voice carrying the weight of 15 years of preparation. "Attention, collective Dominion. This is Captain Sarah Torres of the Confederate warship Hyperion. For 15 years, you've kept humanity contained, claiming it was for the galaxy's protection. You took our technology, stripped our colonies, and thought you'd broken our spirit. Instead, you gave us something priceless, the motivation to exceed every limitation you placed on us." She paused, letting her words sink in. "The Hyperion is not just a ship. It's a declaration. Humanity will no longer accept the role of exile or subject. We offer you one chance. Acknowledge us as equals and open genuine diplomatic relations, or witness firsthand why your predecessors were right to fear human potential." The response was immediate, a cacophony of demands, threats, and panicked communications between Dominion command posts. But Sarah wasn't finished. "To demonstrate our sincerity, we've disabled your ships without casualties. Their crews are unharmed. Consider this both a gesture of mercy and a warning. You have 24 hours to begin diplomatic negotiations. After that, we'll demonstrate exactly how much human ingenuity has evolved during our exile. The choice is yours." As the Hyperion ascended toward the edge of the system, Sarah watched the disabled Dominion ships floating harmlessly in orbit. This was just the beginning. The galaxy was about to learn that trying to contain humanity's potential had been the Dominion's greatest mistake and humanity's greatest opportunity. News of the Hyperion's emergence spread through the galaxy like a shockwave. In the Grand Assembly Hall of the Collective Dominion's capital world, Nexus Prime, chaos reigned. Representatives from 100 species argued as holographic displays showed the impossible. A human warship that had not just escaped containment, but had utterly neutralized an entire Dominion defense fleet without causing a single casualty. High Chancellor Vexthor, his crystalline form pulsing with agitated colors, called for order. The humans were supposed to be contained. How did they develop technology that surpasses our own? In the shadows of the Assembly Hall, Ambassador Lyra K'Tal of the Arcturian Republic watched with secret satisfaction. Her species had long opposed the Dominion's heavy-handed approach to lesser races. Now, their hubris had come back to haunt them. Perhaps, she addressed the assembly, her bioluminescent patterns highlighting her words, "We should ask ourselves not how they did this, but why we never considered they could." The Hyperion's quantum signature appeared on tracking stations across 3 sectors, moving in ways that defied conventional physics. Each appearance sent Dominion fleets scrambling, only to find empty space where the ship had been moments before. It wasn't just evading them, it was playing with them. Aboard the Hyperion, Maya Chen monitored the galactic response with growing excitement. "Captain, you need to see this. We're picking up encrypted transmissions from at least 7 subjugated species. They're reaching out to us." Sarah Torres studied the incoming messages, her neural interface translating the various alien languages in real time. "They're not just reaching out, Maya. They're offering alliance." Commander Walsh's tactical display highlighted potential friendly assets across the sector. The Arcturians have already withdrawn their forces from 3 Dominion battle groups. The Nexer Collective is mobilizing their mothball fleet. We didn't just break our chains, we shattered everyone's illusions about Dominion invincibility. Dr. Rodriguez entered the bridge, his eyes bright with new possibilities. "Captain, the quantum core's performance exceeded our most optimistic projections. The data we gathered from our emergence has already led to 3 potential improvements. But there's something else you need to see." He brought up a detailed scan of the quantum wake they'd left behind. "Other species are already studying our technology, not to copy it. They can't. Our quantum mechanics are too uniquely tied to human consciousness, but to understand the principles. We've triggered a technological renaissance across the galaxy." Sarah smiled, remembering her history. On Earth, the demonstration of new technology had often led to rapid advancement by others, not through direct copying, but through the realization that such things were possible. The Dominion had kept dozens of species in technological stasis through artificial limitations and cultural manipulation. Now that carefully maintained structure was crumbling. "Incoming transmission from Nexus Prime," Maya announced. "The High Chancellor himself." "On screen," Sarah ordered, straightening in her command chair. High Chancellor Vexthor's crystalline form shimmered with barely contained emotion. "Captain Torres, your actions constitute a direct threat to galactic stability. Stand down your vessel and surrender, or face the consequences." Sarah's response was measured, calculated to be broadcast across every communication channel in range. "Chancellor, your definition of stability is the problem. You've built an empire on the assumption that younger species must be controlled and contained. Humanity rejects this premise, and we are not alone." She gestured, and Maya displayed the growing list of species declaring their independence from Dominion oversight. "Your choice is simple. Adapt to a new reality where all species are treated as equals, or watch your collective fragment piece by piece. We don't want war. We want change." "You play a dangerous game, human," Vexthor warned. "The Dominion has maintained peace for 10,000 years. Peace through suppression isn't peace at all," Sarah countered. "You feared human potential enough to exile us. Now you're seeing why. But here's what you never understood. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our adaptability. It's our ability to inspire others to reach for something better." The transmission cut off abruptly, but the damage was done. Across the galaxy, species that had long accepted Dominion authority began to question, to push boundaries, to demand more. The Hyperion had become more than a ship. It was a symbol of possibility. "Multiple Dominion fleet formations breaking up," Walsh reported. "Their subject races are withdrawing support. The Arcturians have officially announced their secession from the collective. The Nexer are following suit." Sarah watched the tactical display as decades of carefully maintained power structures began to crumble. The Dominion had spent millennia convincing younger species that certain things were impossible, that their place in the galaxy was fixed and immutable. In a single day, humanity had proven that impossible was just another word for "hasn't been done yet." "They'll have to respond," Maya warned. "The hardliners won't let their power slip away without a fight." "Good," Sarah replied, her eyes on the quantum core readings, "because we haven't even shown them what the Hyperion can really do. Send word to our new allies. The real revolution is just beginning." The Hyperion's bridge hummed with activity as Captain Torres studied the complex web of alliances forming across the galactic map. In just 72 hours, the balance of power that had stood for millennia had been transformed. The Dominion's response was inevitable and imminent. Quantum sensors detecting massive power signatures, Maya reported, her fingers dancing across her console. The Dominion is mobilizing their elite Guardian fleet, 27 capital ships, including their flagship, the Eternal Dominance. Dr. Rodriguez frowned at his readings. They've modified their ships' quantum signatures. They're trying to adapt to our technology. Let them try, Sarah replied, a hint of steel in her voice. Maya, signal our allies. Execute Operation Labyrinth. Across 3 sectors of space, newly independent alien fleets began moving in precisely coordinated patterns. The Arcturian Republic's crystalline ships sparkled like stars, while the massive organic vessels of the Nexer Collective pulsed with biomechanical energy. But it was the smaller, less obvious movements that brought a smile to Sarah's face. Commander Walsh, status of the quantum network. 60% of our stealth probes are in position, Walsh responded. The Dominion still hasn't detected them. They're so focused on looking for ships that they're missing the real threat. The quantum network was humanity's true masterpiece. While the Hyperion had captured everyone's attention, thousands of tiny quantum-linked probes had been quietly seeding themselves throughout Dominion space. Each one was capable of creating localized distortions in space-time. Nothing large enough to detect, but together. Dominion fleet approaching weapons range, Maya announced. They're broadcasting on all frequencies. The holographic display shifted to show High Admiral Kelvor of the Guardian Fleet, his metallic scales gleaming with barely contained rage. This ends now, humans. You have inspired chaos and rebellion across ordered space. Surrender the Hyperion and return to your containment, or we will be forced to demonstrate why the Dominion has ruled for 10,000 years. Sarah stood from her command chair, her neural interface synchronizing with the Hyperion systems. Admiral, I don't think you understand. We're not trying to defeat your fleet. We're rewriting the rules of engagement. She nodded to Dr. Rodriguez, who activated the quantum network. Across space, thousands of probes activated simultaneously, creating a cascading web of quantum distortions. The massive Dominion fleet suddenly found itself fighting physics itself as space twisted and folded around them. What is this? Kelvor demanded as his ship's formations broke apart, their advanced targeting systems rendered useless by the quantum interference. This is humanity's gift to the galaxy, Sarah replied. You see, while you were watching the Hyperion, our allies were helping us deploy something far more significant. We're not just changing who controls space, we're changing how space can be controlled. The quantum network continued to expand, creating safe corridors for allied ships while disrupting Dominion operations across entire sectors. It wasn't a weapon in the traditional sense, it was an entirely new paradigm of space control. Impossible. Kelvor rage. No single species could achieve this level of coordination. Exactly. Sarah smiled. We didn't do this alone. Every race you've suppressed, every species you've underestimated, they've all contributed. The Arcturians provided the crystalline matrices for our probes. The Nexer's organic computing enhanced our quantum calculations. Even the Zintheri, who you thought were simple merchants, helped distribute our network under your very noses. The Dominion fleet's attempts to compensate for the quantum distortions only made things worse. Their advanced technology, designed to dominate through overwhelming force, proved useless against an enemy that could locally rewrite the laws of physics. You still don't understand what you're dealing with, Sarah continued. The Hyperion isn't just a warship, it's proof that cooperation beats domination. Every piece of technology we developed during our exile was designed to be shared, to be improved upon by others. We didn't want to replace the Dominion. We wanted to show the galaxy a better way. Across secured channels, reports flooded in of Dominion installations and fleets going dark as the quantum network expanded. Not destroyed, simply rendered temporarily impotent as their fundamental assumptions about how space worked were turned against them. Last chance, Admiral, Sarah offered. The Dominion can adapt to the new reality, or it can become a relic of it. The choice is yours, but know this: humanity and our allies are prepared for either outcome. The silence that followed was deafening. On the tactical display, the mighty Guardian fleet hung suspended in quantum-disrupted space, their fearsome weapons rendered useless, their superior technology neutralized not by force, but by innovation. Maya's console lit up with new signals. "Captain, we're receiving transmissions from across Dominion space. More systems are declaring independence. The collective is fracturing." Sarah nodded, watching as the galaxy's power structure realigned itself in real time. "Send word to all allies. Phase 1 is complete. Begin diplomatic protocols for the establishment of the Galactic Concordat. It's time to build something new." The greater game wasn't about military victory. It was about fundamentally changing how species interacted with each other. And humanity, the exiles who had been deemed too dangerous to join galactic society, had just proven they were exactly what the galaxy needed. 1 year after the quantum revolution, the Great Hall of the newly established Galactic Concordat buzzed with activity. Representatives from over 200 species gathered on the neutral world of Haven Prime, a fitting name for humanity's former prison, turned center of interstellar cooperation. Captain Sarah Torres, now Admiral Torres, stood before the assembled representatives, the Hyperion visible through the hall's transparent dome as it patrolled with a mixed fleet of human, Arcturian, and Nexar vessels. The ship had become a symbol not of warfare, but of transformation. "The quantum network is now fully operational," she announced, gesturing to the holographic display showing thousands of interconnected nodes across the galaxy. "Thanks to cooperation between our species, we've created something the old Dominion never could. A truly unified system of interstellar travel and communication." Dr. Rodriguez, who had become the head of the Concordat Scientific Exchange, stepped forward. "The network's success proves what humanity has always believed, that innovation flourishes through collaboration, not control. Every participating species has contributed unique insights, improving the system beyond what any single civilization could achieve." In the years since the Dominion's fall, the galaxy had changed dramatically. The quantum network, originally designed as a defense system, had evolved into the backbone of a new interstellar society. Ships of all species used its corridors for safe, efficient travel. The technology that had once disrupted space now helped unite it. Former High Chancellor Vex Thor, now serving as one of many equal representatives on the Galactic Council, rose to speak. "We were wrong," he admitted, his crystalline form glowing with humility. "We feared change so much that we became its enemy. The humans showed us that true stability comes not from control, but from adaptation and cooperation." Commander Walsh, monitoring the Concordat's combined defense fleet, smiled at the irony. The Hyperion, built in secret as a weapon of liberation, now led peacekeeping missions and scientific expeditions. Its quantum drive technology had been freely shared, allowing all species to contribute to its improvement. Maya Chen, who had become the Concordat's chief of interspecies communications, brought up new data on the central display. The latest statistics showed trade between member worlds has increased by 300%. Scientific breakthroughs are occurring at unprecedented rates. We're seeing cultural exchanges that would have been impossible under the old system. Sarah watched as representatives from formerly hostile species engaged in animated discussions about joint projects and shared discoveries. The quantum network had done more than connect their ships. It had connected their civilizations. "But our greatest achievement," she addressed the assembly, "isn't technological. It's proving that diversity isn't a threat to be contained. It's a strength to be embraced. Each species brings unique perspectives, abilities, and ideas. Together, we're not just exploring space. We're expanding the boundaries of what's possible." The assembly erupted in agreement. The Arcturians' crystalline songs harmonized with the Nexar's biorhythmic pulses, while dozens of other species added their own forms of approval. Unity through diversity, the principle that had become the Concordat's foundation. "There will always be challenges," Sarah continued. "New discoveries to make, problems to solve, differences to reconcile. But we face them together, not as rulers and subjects, but as equals. The quantum network isn't just a tool. It's a promise that we all share in both the challenges and the achievements. Dr. Rodriguez brought up one final display: the plans for the next generation of exploration vessels. Unlike the warships of the past, these were designed from the start as joint ventures between multiple species, combining the best aspects of each civilization's technology and knowledge. Humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy wasn't the Hyperion or the quantum network, Sarah concluded. It was a reminder that the universe is too vast and wonderful for any one species to claim superiority. True power doesn't come from domination. It comes from the infinite possibilities that arise when different peoples work together. As the assembly moved to discuss new initiatives and projects, Sarah stepped onto a private balcony overlooking Haven Prime's capital. The city below was a testament to their success. Architecture from a dozen worlds blending harmoniously, streets filled with beings of all species working and living together. The Hyperion passed overhead, its quantum drive leaving a subtle distortion in the sky. Sarah smiled, remembering the fear it had once inspired. Now it represented something far more powerful than any weapon: the power of innovation, cooperation, and the unshakable belief that the future belonged not to those who sought to control it, but to those who dared to reimagine it. In the end, humanity's exile had given the galaxy exactly what it needed: proof that the impossible was just the beginning. The dawn of this new era hadn't come through conquest or dominance, but through the simple, powerful truth that every species had something valuable to contribute to the grand tapestry of galactic civilization. And that was a victory worth far more than revenge.